Hi, it's Stephen from Evergreen Fields, and today we are going to walk around the green machine. This is one of our Volvos that's now retired. So it's an FH16 600 horsepower machine. We have this truck a couple of years now. Joey actually used to drive it, who has a job in the office now. So we kind of made the decision that we would retire it. Look, it's a spare truck as well, so if a truck breaks down or we're short a truck, need a little bit of help, we do take this lady out, but we'd try and mind it at the same time. So as I said, it's an FH16. So the 16 is basically standing for a 16-litre engine. Most of Volvos that you see on the road will be a 13-litre engine. So this one is a 16-litre, so obviously it's producing more horsepower. So we have this one running at 600 horsepower. Now we have another 16-litre Volvo as well, which is behind us, which is 750. So look, you can tune this one up. It can 600 and we've left it alone. That's kind of the engine side of it and the horsepower. As well as that, on this truck, it has the hub reduction axle on it. So again, real heavy duty, and it helps as well. So the power that the truck is producing and the torque, all the power, you know, isn't just going solely to the diff. The power is coming out to the hub reduction, and in here you've got gears, so that's helping with your torque, your traction, to get the power down correctly and not blow up a diff. Twin wheel tag as well on this truck. So we've got single tags, as the 750 is behind us. We've got twin wheel tags. Twin wheel always looks better. Other than that, I don't really see a major difference for us anyways. Single wheel tag is probably a little bit lighter and easier to maintain, we find. On the side of this as well, it has the lovely chrome side skirts, which is a real nice finish. There's not too many of them that have the chrome finish. This truck has the 3.1 wheelbase on this truck, so it is, for a big truck, it's actually easy enough to maneuver. So the sliding fifth wheel on this truck as well. So again, just to have the slider on it, you can adjust the fifth wheel, you know, if you have a trailer that you can pull up closer to the back of the cab for us to shorten the wheelbase, just going in and out of farms. Or again, you can distribute the weight of the load, you know, further to the back of this axle, over the axle, or further to the front, depending on how technical you want to get to it. When we got this truck, there was no tipping gear on it, so we had to be a little bit, I don't know how you'd say, I didn't really want to put the hydraulic tank on the back of the cab. I wanted to keep it underneath to keep it neat and tidy, but we hadn't any room. We've got the big diesel tank on this side, and we've got a small little toolbox, and on the other side you've got the AdBlue tank and you've actually got the batteries on that side as well. So to be fair, we got it mounted in the back here, and it actually came out very well. Real nice, and a nice finish with the lights at the back of the cab. Joey actually put them on himself, so you've actually got your park lights, you've got your brake lights, and your indicators are actually all built in here, so we'll actually show you that. Truck is fully on air, so as well as the back, the front axle and the cab are on air as well, so we can basically adjust the ride height of the truck, be it going in and out of a farm, or even just driving along the road. You can set the height of it with the remote here. You can select the front axle or the rear axle, and you can adjust your height on that. What kind of sets this Volvo apart, as well as having the FH16, the big engine and the big power, it's actually a double XL. So the cab is actually bigger. So you can actually see the size of the toolbox door here is a lot bigger than normal. And then you've got this section here, which wouldn't be in your normal truck cab at all. So it's maybe 10 inches longer, that cab, maybe even a bit longer. You'd really have to be standing beside it to actually see how big it is. And the beauty with that is the bed is a lot bigger. You have more room for sleeping, so it's nice. It's something different. I think, my knowledge anyways, is that's the only Double X FH16 that's in the country. In Ireland anyways, I know there's one in England. Just at the front of the truck as well, it's finished off with the bar on the front. Some people love them, some people hate them, but it actually came on the truck, so we kept it. We put on some nice spots on it. Pretty nice, neat. To be fair, they finished the trucks off really well in Europe. And to be fair to Ireland now, we really have a good standard of trucks on the road. You know, some great specs and great colour schemes going on now. Yeah, the truck as well, because it's that FH16, they always do something different with the cab interior. So you'll have different little trims, like your chrome trims on the door handles, you have chrome trims on the roof, and they normally finish it with, you know, some nice FH16 built into the leather on the door cards. So the driver's seat especially has heated seats and air-cooled seats as well. So again, it's just an extra when you go for the FH16 model. Now, one major point to point out with this truck is it is left-hand drive. Some lads don't mind driving a left-hand drive. Some lads would never drive a left-hand drive in the country. To be fair, if you're used to driving and you are a confident driver, give yourself a week and you'll be fairly up to speed with a left-hand drive. We do a lot of regional work, regional roads, so like you're never really overtaken. But yeah, that is a factor. To be fair, you can't actually see what you're doing if you are overtaken. That is one downside to it. The braking system on this truck as well, it has a retarder built in. So basically the transmission is helping with the braking because it's that big heavy duty kind of spec truck. That's the way it was finished off with the retarder, which is saving on your brakes as well, you know. Fuel probably would be a little bit heavier on fuel, you know. We probably had it running around 6.5 to 7 miles to the gallon, where the other Volvos will be running, you know, anywhere from 7.5 to 8 miles to the gallon. But it's a heavier truck, it's a bigger engine, more horsepower, so it's going to be that little bit heavier on fuel. I think we have this truck 4 years now, 3-4 years, the way time is going. Yeah, but a great truck. And it's a truck that I'll probably never sell, just because it has that unique. It's the Double XL, the big cab, big engine, big power, and I just don't think, I actually don't think there's any other one in Ireland. If there is, I'd actually like to see it. But yeah, an absolute class truck. We love it. We've actually 2 trucks with these bars on them that came on them. Personally, I wouldn't buy any of these bars to put them on a truck. They are quite expensive to buy. They're like 5 or 6 grand, I believe, to buy new. They will help, obviously, if wildlife comes out on the road. It probably will help. Now, I don't think they're as strong. They're aluminium. I don't think they're as strong as what you might think they are. But I know in Australia and other countries like that, especially Australia, I've seen it myself, where they have absolute tanks of bars on the front. You know, there's a lot more wildlife out there, kangaroos, etc., which will serve a purpose. But I think more so in this country and in the UK, it's more of a style kind of a thing and how they look. And to be fair, there is some lovely bars and different lights that you can get for them that does finish them off. But for me, I just think it's just for show really in this country. So yeah, so look, most trucks come with an engine brake or a retarder. Some of the new trucks have a kind of it's built in that they have both. This Volvo has the retarder on it, so you have different settings in the cab on the stick, so you can control it either have it in a manual setting. So when you take your foot off the accelerator, going down a hill, the retarder will come in itself, and basically it'll do the braking for you through the transmission. And then you have more severe settings. So if you were, you know, had a heavy load and you were going down, especially a long hill, again, you're probably talking more European countries where they've got, you know, you're climbing a hill for a long time, or you're, for the braking purposes with the retarder, you're going down the hill, you don't want to be leaving your foot on the brake and burning the brakes, heating the brakes up. So that's where your retarder comes in, and your transmission will hold it to a certain speed. And it's safer as well, and also essentially you're saving the brakes on the truck, so you are saving a little bit on maintenance. You still want to be using your brakes, or the next problem you have is your calipers can give you a bother or seize up. But it's a really good feature, and because it's the heavy duty with the heavy axles, that's why this truck would have been spec'd with a retarder. There's one or two other trucks we have with retarders, and then there's some trucks that we just have with engine brakes. To be fair, the engine brake that Volvo do, even in the new trucks that we have, are a great job. They are very close to a retarder, I would call it. With the retarder, you can control it inside here manually. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 settings. So you can set it as severe as you want, or there's an automatic setting where it'll do its own thing. So normally when you take your foot off the accelerator, or if you slightly touch the brake, it'll engage. Now the thing with the retarder is you'd want to be aware and know how to operate a retarder, because if you're going down the road, especially if there's no trailer on this truck and you're going down the road and that retarder is set all the way down, especially if the roads are greasy like they are today, you will possibly crash the truck because it's severe braking. So you know, that's one thing with it that you need to be mindful with. But an absolute great system. To be fair, on this truck, it's a great feature. While we're inside the truck, it's prepped for a TV, so the TV is taken out of the truck now, but basically, you know, it's a bolt-in and plug-in job here for your TV on this truck. It has your built-in hands-free. Look, most trucks have them anyway. It has your built-in hands-free. You've got your fridge freezer, you've got your storage underneath, you've got your big bed. I know the camera won't pick up the actual size of the bed, but absolutely, it's massive inside the cab. You've got your nice leather seats on the driver's one, and you've got your armrests. These are swivel seats as well. Look, driver comfort. To be fair, the truck is 2013. The new Scania and even the new Volvo that we have, you know, I suppose the main thing you're talking really is the technology. So the new trucks and driver comfort in the newer trucks. Now this truck is quite comfortable because of it's all on air, but the new trucks they're very comfortable, they're very silent. The technology with your cruise controls and your adaptive cruise controls, and your safety features on the new trucks, that'll probably be the main thing really on the newer trucks that we have. Would be safety features, you know, collision from the front, the side, all that is monitored. There's more live feeds that you can have from be a Scania or a Volvo compared to this truck, but essentially the newer trucks and the older trucks, there's not a whole pile of difference in them, as in performance wise. Like this truck would be more raw power and torque, where the newer trucks would be more refined, lower revs and probably higher torque, which is probably with the newer trucks given that better fuel consumption. But as for the older trucks, pure raw power, torque, especially with this truck, and you'd know to drive straight away, you know. There's probably more, that's one thing I suppose, the newer trucks, there's probably more points to charge your phone, USB and, you know, stuff like that. But essentially not, I don't think there's a massive difference in them. It depends what way the truck is spec'd as well. Like this truck in particular has the overhead storage, and it has the extra bed, like this bed drops down. The newer trucks, some of the newer trucks still come with them beds, which we actually got ourselves, which is no real use because we're not bringing we're not bringing anyone others anyways. But I mean, like the beds take up space, you know, you want as much, the drivers, especially when the lads are sleeping out during the week, they want as much storage as they can. Like it's their house for this. It's their house for the week, so you want as much storage as possible. Like there's a microwave in this truck as well. Plenty of storage, to be fair. Some of them actually come with a little freezer built in up here. This one doesn't, it has it down under the bunk. Yeah, look, if I was to sum up this truck in one word, especially this one, it would be a beast. You know, it is a beast of a truck. To be fair, Volvo in general, I mean, the one word that stands out to me is just reliability. But the Volvos, which I'm most accustomed to the last 11 years myself, before we started adding Scania back into the fleet, but I have to say the version 3 Volvos, version 2 and version 3 that I've bought and I've worked with and worked on, reliability, absolutely great truck, great brand.